I wanted to make a video to explain why my favorite Pokemon the card game strategy fills my geeky little heart with joy. Like with many other competitive games, the point of the game is to beat up your opponent mercilessly until all of their Pokemon faint. You know, as you do in a family-friendly franchise for people of all ages. And while I admit it is very fun to beat your opponent using your obviously superior intellect, there is another way. So another way to win the card game is for your opponent to run out of all of their cards. That is immediate KO, no take backsies, they done, they gone. And that's even if they've been winning the entirety of the match up until that point. Cue one of the most evil decks in the standard format. Snorlax Stall. So imagine this. You're in the middle of a match on your phone app after a hard, stressful day at work, or you're at a local tournament and you're just there to chill and have some fun. And you spend your first turn maneuvering all of the items that you're going to need into your hand so that they're ready for the next turn. You get your things all nice and tidy together and ready. Kind of therapeutic. You just gotta wait a single turn before your itty bitty baby Pokemon can evolve into its big boy fighting counterpart. But the first card your opponent plays is a card that makes you throw away two of your most critical cards in your hand. Cool, whatever. You got a backup Pokemon you can put down. Except no, your backup Pokemon can't be brought in because their Snorlax, the definitely has diabetes from a lifetime of poor dietary choices Pokemon. Yeah, that Snorlax is blocking one of your only routes of retreat with its giant, immovable body. So you wait an extra turn. You've lost your momentum, but that's okay. You can finally evolve your itty bitty Pokemon into its EX or VMAX form. That's a stronger, more powerful Pokemon. A super duper Pokemon, if you will. Except your opponent has replaced their Snorlax with Mimikyu. He's the Pokemon that wears that cute little raggedy Pikachu costume over his entire body because he is so ugly if you look at him, you will die. And his ability is that he is impenetrable to EX and VMAX Pokemon. You can't hit him. So you wait until you can get a switch card so you can tag out your super duper Pokemon and replace it with your not as super, definitely not as duper, lesser Pokemon that can still, hit him. Except they pull out the Mimikyu and replace it with Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. His ability is that he can't be hit by any other Pokemon that has an ability. And your talented, overachieving, A+ student of a Pokemon has an ability. I just imagine that Ogerpon, like Neo from the Matrix, just dodging bullets, except instead of bullets, Ogerpon is just swerving out of the way from just really smart Pokemon. By then, with all of the Pokemon switching back and forth into playing like the world's worst game of merry-go-round, can't touch me, ever, and having your cards discarded left and right, your suffering is finally ended by finding that you have no additional cards to draw, and you have lost. That's Snorlax Stall. The Snorlax deck is meant to waste your opponent's time, waste your opponent's cards, but most of all, waste your opponent's sanity. It is excruciatingly annoying to play against this deck, especially if you aren't prepared for it. And the reason I love playing this deck is because even if your opponent spends the extra time to find a Pokemon that can hit you, or they've kept their cool just long enough to figure out a way to maneuver out of the purposefully painful trap that you've placed, you can look into your opponent's triumphant, but definitely deeply annoyed face and smile. Because when you play Snorlax Stall, even if you lose, you've already won.